Good day, Ma'am MJ. Today I will present to you my Python activity number 2. And here is the code. So first, in the top we have here a first function pattern 1. So this inside the function we have for loop. This will control the number of rows, and then after that the inner for loop. This will print the numbers starting from 1 up to the current row number I, and then it will print each number on the same line. And then for the second loop we have here another for loop. So this one is we start at 5 and it will decreases up to 1. And then for the inner loop, it will just print the numbers from 1 up to the current value of I. And then for the second function we have here pattern 2. So inside of the function we have here to control the rows from 1 up to 5. And then we need to print spaces before numbers. So it means fewer spaces are printed as I is increases. And then we have to print the numbers from 1 to I. For the second loop, we start from 5 and it will reduces down to 1. And then it is just the same. It will print spaces as I is decreases. And then for the inner for loop, it will just print the numbers from 1 to I. And we have here our third function, pattern 3. Inside of that function, we need to create the rows from 1 to 5. And then for the inner for loop, it will just print the numbers from 1 to I. For the second loop, for I in range, this will control the rows from 5 down to 1. And then we just simply add spaces before the numbers to ship its output to the right side. And then we will print the numbers from 1 to I. For the fourth function, we have here pattern 4. Inside of the function, we have here variable declaration n, and then it holds a value of 6. So this one right here is to determine the height of the rows. After that, we have here for loop for I in range. This will control the number of rows, and then this will this will print spaces to center the pyramid. And then for the inner for loop, this will print the increasing numbers from 1 to I. Then this another inner for loop will print the decreasing numbers from I minus 1 down to 1. And then for the fifth function, pattern 5, this is for the upper half. This will basically build the top of the diamond, and then we print spaces to center the numbers. And then we use string function to repeat the number to form the width. And then for the lower half, just basically the same, but we first build the bottom part from 5 to 7. And then we have here print spaces as it is increasing. And then we use string function to reduce the width of the numbers. And then for the last function, we have here pattern 6. For the top half, we first start with the widest row, and this will be decreases. And then after that, we will print spaces to center the shape. And then we will use string function to print the repeated numbers to form the row width. And then lastly, for the bottom half, we start with the smaller, and it will increases to form the bottom. After that, it's just the same logic. We just add spacing for alignment, and then after that we will expand the width again. And then in our main function, we just simply call those functions to have a output. So I will show you the output. So as you can see, this is for the pattern 1, pattern 2, pattern 3, pattern 4, 5, and 6.